Welcome to Gnarly Times, and I'm your Gnarly Vato. And today we're going to talk about a CYA story. When I rolled up to Karl HOLTON, after I did a year in Preston, they sent me to a drug institution before I could get out a year. Because when NRCC, they ask you questions, say, hey, you do drugs, you ever did this? And if you said yes, they automatically said you're a drug addict. So you had to hit a drug institution before you got out. It's crazy. Or a drug program. Well, when I left Preston, it was crazy. When I walked on the bus, I see this dude that was from Stockton that I literally rolled up a year earlier with, named Gonzo from Triple S. By the time I left, he was turned out, and I forgot his mom. He was named after his mom. You know, what I've heard, the story I heard with that was he used to get crazy all the time, real loud, obnoxious, and he ended up going to redirect or down the bottom of the hill, and some dude sharpened his pencil, his celly, 3 pencils, and stuck it to his neck and took it, and that was the story of what I've heard. And so I tripped out when I seen him. We both rolled to Karl HOLTON. We got on the bus. When we were on the bus, there was some other dude that was there. 2 dudes that were there, shackled, and they're looking at me, I'm looking at them, and they hit me up, and I told them where I was from, and they it was crazy. This one was from Tulare County, Early Mark, and the other dude, homeboy, was from Fresno, WFN, and I had told the homeboy, I said, that's crazy, you're from Fresno. I said, they homeboys from Fresno catching the blues in Preston. Excuse me. And so I told him it's gonna be war once they start finding out he's from Fresno. And he didn't really believe it, because he's like, whatever. But that's the way it was. But anyways, we drove from Preston on a bus to Karl HOLTON in Stockton. And Preston's up in the hills, Nyome, old castles, big, little city. It was crazy. When we were there, we would walk a distance, rain or shine, to go eat. And now, as I think about these stories, I think how crazy it was. Everybody walking in the rain, come back soaked, and then we're all sitting next to each other trying to hang our jackets somewhere, all our wet clothes. It's crazy. And we're like damn near elbow to elbow on chairs, so it was wild. Well, when I left on the bus, we rolled up to Karl HOLTON, and it was I was lucky actually, because I had rolled up with 2 homeboys, so I wasn't the only solo one. You know how it is, you up in there. So it was cool. There was 3 of us. So when we rolled up to Karl HOLTON, those who've been there, there's a field in the middle, and at the far end of the field is a school area, and on each side of the field there's halls. I think there's 3 on each side, and there's different, in each hall they have a kitchen area that serves for both sides, Well, when I rolled up, our representatives spoke to us, and they told us the rules and regulars and how it was gonna go down. And told us the problems we were having there, you know, what to expect. And a lot of them said it was kind of chill. Well, so anyways, that Friday we rolled up. We were chilling Saturday out, you know, by the handball, wherever we're at. I was meeting the homeboys and talking to them. And come the night, they have a Catholic and Protestant sign up, you know. And back then I used to go to Catholic church in Preston, right by the visiting area. And when I was signing up, this homeboy from SAC, he's like half white or something. He's a Wedo. Can't remember his name. But he told me, he's like, hey, homie, don't go to church. There's all these things there. And no disrespect, but we would call things Southsiders, or the saying the derogatory term that we use on the streets, we would call them things. So we wouldn't disrespect them and bust their ears, you know? Because we're all trying to do our time, get the hell out, but we still gotta respect where we're at, you know? Even though they were our enemy, we still gotta do what we gotta do. Anyways, well, I told the homeboy, I said, man, don't even worry about it. I said, I go to church all the time, you know? So God's always watching me. So he looks at me like, all right, do what you gotta do. So, anyways, the homeboys that I was with on the bus, they signed up for church. So it's us three, and then I had met this other guy from Yuba City, or named Duende. He was on the side of me, because we all went to church, and there's about 10 of us, 12 of us. And when you go to this institution, church is right by the entrance, by the visiting. And so visiting was going on around this time. People going back and forth. So when we went in this church, there's, like I said, 10 of us, maybe 12 of us. Well, the homeboy that was with me, that on the bus I met, his name was Mad Dog. He was from Early Mark / Erla, Clare County. Well, we run into his other homeboy from Delano named Huerito at the time. And, well, if anybody knows, in the Central Valley, Delano and Early Mark are like 5 miles away, 10 miles away, close by. So people from Early Mark always go to Delano to get their groceries, or Walmart, or some big store. Because they would have to go to Tulare, farther up. However, in Early Mark is in Tulare County, and Delano is in Kern County. And it's right on the county line, Delano, Tulare County. So when we were there, in this whole time, we started walking to this church, right? Well, Mad Dog is talking to the homeboy, and they're talking about war. The homeboy was older, because in this institution, they could be up to, I think, 17 to 24. So we're dealing with older homeboys, you know? I roll in all young, and the other homeboy is a grown man. You know, the one in the middle over here. Like, damn. Anyways, they keep talking as we're going into the church. And when we went in, we're on the back 2 rows or 3 rows close to the door. And mind you, I'm there 2 days, so I don't even know none of these guys. But I had seen my homeboy from my hometown, Little Ray, from ESV, walking to visiting. You know, and that was like, well, he didn't see me, but I seen him. And, well, that's another story too and stuff. Well, this guy, they're there talking, and I'm here ear hustling, right? Because I just came from Preston, and right now it was on and cracking. We had like 3 riots in 1 month, 2 months. You know, we're on lockdown eating bologna. I hate bologna to this day. So We were up on bunks. I seen some Southsider get sprayed, pepper spray. It's summertime, laid out. That's another story too, crazy. So anyways, I was ready on my toes, just real anxious. I didn't know, you never know what will pop off. You know, it's going to be a good day or bad day. Well, we go up in and we sit down, and I'm in the second or third to the last row. And I'm toward the end, second to the end, and the little homeboy Duende's right there. Well, this Mad Dog's right here next to me, and then the homeboy Hueritos on the other side of him. And on the other side were some homeboys from Yorba Linda, like 2 homeboys, 3 homeboys. It's crazy too. And then right behind us was the homeboy out by himself from Hanford. Well, we're there chilling, and we don't know none of these guys in here, this church. I never seen them. Right in front of us all Mexicans, you know? They look at us like, who the fuck are these guys? We're like, who the hell are you? You know? That's your mentality in there. Well, we're there chilling. I'm there chilling, and I'm all anxious, shaking my legs. You know what I mean? The homeboy Duende, we're get bonding within a couple of days. And, well, as I'm here waiting for the service, these guys keep talking this whole time. They even tell the priest was coming. Well, Crispy had just came in from a violation or something. So he was using all these street lingo, you know, some that you couldn't bust ears where I just came from. So I'm hearing these, and he's talking to the new homeboy came from NRCC. So he ain't knowing nothing going down, you know, because this was his first real institution. So this homeboy's there hearing this, and he's about 17. So he's hearing this older homeboy, you know, like 23, 24 years old, talking all these war dogs. You know how it is. Well, they're there chattering, and I hear something about, oh yeah, I was rolling through Erla, right through the park, right there, and I seen these, you know, the derogatory terms for the Southsiders. And I was like, did he just say that? You know, and I looked and like, what the heck? Well, as I'm hearing myself, these guys in front of us were hearing us, because they don't know where we're from, but these fools were loud that they're hearing them talk, you know? And I might even told them, hey, relax, you know, that's enough. But they kept talking. Well, towards the end of the church, right, I start seeing these guys, like the main homeboy, up some south side right in front of us. So he's there, puts one hand on his homeboy's thing, and goes, pass it along, you know? I'm guessing what he's saying. He goes to the homeboy like, hey, you know, told him what happened. Homeboy, we disrespected, busted their ears. So, and I told his homeboy, I go, hey, these fools know, they just disrespected their ears, disrespected. I said, I think it's going down. Right? I told Duende, he's like, nah, man. Yeah, you're tripping. You know, and I go, I think it's going to crack off. And he's like, you know, and he was kind of like bison homeboy, short. And so, so we're standing there. We're in church, right? So the service is over, and the priest starts walking out. I think he had this thing. I don't even know. I was so paranoid by then. I'm like, you know, because I went through 3 riots. You know, got gassed, got pepper sprayed. You know, it was crazy. In Greenbrier. Because over there in Preston, if one unit kicked off or lodge, the other one kicked off. And the other one kicked off. The only one that didn't kick off was Buckeye because they had to feed us. They used to feed some crazy gruel, but it was delicious. Especially after walking in the rain. You roll up a big old pot of, I don't know what the heck it was. But it was the best goulash I've ever eaten. They say they found boots in there. They would put boots in there. But who knows? It was wild, crazy. Anyways, back to the story. So, I'm there already. Chest is thumping. like a rabbit. You know, I'm like, damn, it's gonna crack. Well, I told this fool Mad Dog, I said, hey, fool, you busted these fools' ears. And Mad Dog used to be like, look all mean, you know? And the other fool buddy was like, he had reddish hair, real light complected. And he was the oldest one out of all of us. All the other homeboys probably like 17, 16, like my age. At 17, I think we're all 17 at the time. Because you had to almost be 18. So, we're there. My heart's thumping. I tell this fool, Duende, dude, you better get ready for I think it's cracking. And he's like, alright. Well, I told this fool Mad Dog to pass it down the line that these fools are tripping. Be prepared. And I don't know if you believe it or not. But anyways, once the service happens, the priest is walking out. And everybody, you know how the Catholic, if you've ever been in Catholic service, people in the pews or the benches stand up, like out of respect for the priest. So as they stand up, they'll turn, you know, kind of watch him as he's walking out. But right when the priest passed us, all these fools on the other side of the bench turn around, you know, and they go, one fool, right, the main one, I don't know who he was, but he turned around and said, hey, did you disrespect the sur? And I'm like, I told this fool, I looked at Duende like, I told you, fool. You know? And he like, fuck, you know? Because there was like a little chubby guy in front of us. A gordito fool. And I wasn't too big. I was like this. You know? Well, anyways, these guys hit up the homeboy, Güerito, Mad Dog. And all of a sudden, the whole time they're talking, they didn't have nothing to say. They just were on hush. And I had warned them, if I'm correct, you know, like, dude, watch what you guys are loud. Talking crazy. Well, they didn't believe it. And when these fools turned around and hit us, let us know what's up, it shocked them. It shocked them. I was on my toes. I was always on my toes, dude. I tried to be. You know, because it was wild. Anyways, these fools just stood there. I think one even go up like, you know? And I was there in the front ready like, should I hit this fool? Should I hit this fool on my left? The one on the right? Or should I hit the fool on my, the left with my right? You know? Because he was like two from the end too. And just the bigger fool was right in front of us, right? So all this time I'm there standing like, all right, we're going to get this one, you know? The homeboys can handle them. They started shit. Anyway, dude, I'm just waiting. It literally seemed like, I don't know how long. I was like, is anybody saying anything? Or do I got to say something? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I was the one or who was the one, but I just swung. Boom! It hit the guy in front of me. And everybody just started swinging. You know? And we were just throwing, it was crazy because everybody in front, it was crazy. But before you know it, all the other units or halls that were there just started brawling with each other. You know? It was crazy. And then the staff, all the cops from the other units used to be towards the door. They might have some outside, but there's always like 2 or 3. Dude, I was right at the end of the door. Pulled out the fogger. Just started Macy, because that's where it happened, was right in front. You know, I hit the floor once they hit the fog, and hit the floor a minute because it kind of got on me, and I kind of let it clear, and then I jumped back up because I was between 2 pews or benches, bleachers, whatever, and then I just started bombing on someone else right there, you know, but it was wild. Everybody getting mazed, people just coughing, spit, you know what I mean? Like, it was wild, and then I just hit the ground again after I got some shots off, and because couldn't breathe after a while, you know, because they fogged us and threw a little, you know, smoke grenade, and I started crawling out towards the door and shit. By then they were just pulling people out and zip tying, but as they laid us all out on that whole lawn right there, I think the other church is right next to it, the Protestant, and we're all there, and that's when I see my homeboy later on, Lil Ray, walking back. You know, and I think he might have seen me that time. And he he's like, what the? Because he didn't know I was rolling up. But anyways, I got, they banded me up. They interviewed all of us. Because we're on Ebbets. No, I was on Ebbets later. I can't remember the one right there. Donner? I think Donner. Receiving. And so when when they zip tied me, threw me down, you know what I mean? They questioned all of us, and I was like, I don't know what happened. All I know is I got punched, and I punched back. And they were like, okay, so boom, 3 months, and I was like, what the heck? But I just admitted, other people, well, no, I didn't do nothing. But I was like, fuck, whatever. All I know, someone punched me because I think I had like a black, I don't know, but I said I punched somebody, but they gave me 3 months because they had to do something, So, anyways, I ended up, it was crazy too. There's all kinds of fools got busted, I think. But that kind of set the little tone for me when I was there. They're like, oh, homeboys in the Riot, the Catholic Church, And honest, that was the last time I ever went to a Catholic church, besides a funeral or a wedding, And because I felt bad, I'm like, man. So I always went to the Protestant church. So that's my tale, a gnarly tale, that you think like what unpredictable, you know what I mean? Other people's actions, you get caught up with them if you're rolling with them, So sometimes you got to tell your homeboy like, hey, relax, fool. You can get us all caught up. But shit happens, And that was 2 days into there. Woke up on Friday, Sunday got in Riot, But it was crazy. I did actually, I think at the time they give you like 9 months if you do good instead of a whole year. And so they give you like 3 months good credit. So instead of 3 months of good credit, I had to do a whole full year there. And that's where I did AA and I used to trip out AA like, what I need this for? I never drank alcohol. But as I'm older and became a drinker and alcoholic, I go to AA meetings every now and then, and I see, all the things I learned as a kid. I'm like, man, maybe they're preparing me for that, being an alcoholic, But that's why I think I drank a lot, to suppress a lot of my thoughts and emotions. Just sometimes feel like either a rabbit or a wolf, You don't know what's gonna happen. So I just feel sorry for everybody in there, not just me. Even when I was in Preston, I used to gamble a lot. So I gambled with Bulldogs. And this one we're barely hearing about Bulldog breaking off. I used to gamble with Southsiders. My literally Preston like this. A blood from L.A., me a Northerner, a dude from Florencia, and a Bulldog right next to him. That's how they would sit us. So you're literally sitting next to your enemy. So I trip out this fool little Joe, we became kind of tight. I used to gamble with him and all his other homeboys, and my homeboy would be like, hey, fool, you need to stop gambling with these fools, but come busting food, a spread, they were down to eat that, But there's times I lose and I'd pay books of stamps, kick guys and noodles, bags of chips, cookies. I used to I was wild. I had a gambling problem, but I make money a lot. It was crazy. That's what, if you're not getting in trouble in there, you're gambling, making money. So I advise everybody to stay out of jail, especially the kids. Us older, been around a while. We're lucky we're here. I'm lucky I'm here. Well, that's another tale from the gnarly times, and I'm Gnarly Vato.